Hi everyone, in this lead generation guide, we're going to be talking all about how we were able to generate a $13 cost per lead for our mortgage clients. And in this specific video, we're going to touch on actually like the campaign configuration. We're even going to touch on exactly how we built these landing pages. And then we're going to talk about conversion tracking and how we put in offline conversion data to really enhance the value of our lead, right? So we can just jump right in. And if you like videos like this, please like, subscribe, and comment. It helps us put out more content that's focused on this specific topic. But yeah, we can just jump right in, right? So the first piece to generating a $13 cost per lead is going to be your strategy, right? So in this specific campaign for mortgage leads, we're focusing really on three different audiences. We have a VA audience, an FHA audience, and then a down payment assistant audience, right? So these are all purchase leads. Before we build out these campaigns, we know that these are three audiences. We're going to jump into our landing page and actually develop a landing page that's going to convert, right? So the key here, right, we have three different ad groups. The first ad group is down payment assistance. The second ad group is going to be FHA, right? So we're going to want to make sure these headlines are matching our ad group themes and our keyword themes, right? So if you're primarily bidding on FHA keywords, right, we're going to make sure we're putting, right, something like FHA lender for first-time home buyers, FHA loans for first-time home buyers. We're going to put a strong call to action here, get pre-approved in minutes, and then we're going to have our actual form that helps drive that initial lead right up top, right? And then this last landing page is going to be all about VAs, right? Because we have, again, three different audiences, and we want to make sure the experience for each of these audiences is very specific and very relevant. So for the VA landing page, it's going to be similar to the FHA landing page, right? It's going to be VA loans or VA lender. And we can take out the first-time home buyer because the VA product is a little bit different. It's not always a first-time home buyer, right? So, we can just put something along the lines of like top VA lender in California. Again, the goal, and this obviously only matches if you're focusing in California, right? But the goal here is to be hyper relevant up top. So right when someone clicks on your ad, advertising that you're a VA lender, they see that your landing page also matches what the initial intent of your ad was, right? So once you have your headlines built out, you're going to want to go through here and also update the content throughout here to match the FHA or the VA or the down payment assistance, right? So, you're going to want to go through this landing page and update, why use an FHA loan, right? And I'm not going to go through here and edit the entire landing page ad copy, but you're going to want to make sure that, again, your keywords are weaved all throughout your three separate landing page experiences, right? Because not only will this give a better experience for the user, but Google, Facebook, Microsoft, they all scan your landing pages to find what's going to be relevant. So putting those target keywords helps boost your ad score and gives you a lower cost per lead, a lower cost per click. So when we actually go to the final page, it's going to look something like this, right? Again, you're going to make sure your keyword is very focused, your audience is very focused, and then you're going to want to have a strong call to action. You're going to want to have all these things right up front, right? They're not going to come and fill out this form initially. Most of them won't, right? They're going to scroll down, read a little bit more, so you're going to want to make sure you still have enough content to where they feel comfortable, right? So they're learning about down payment assistance, what is a first-time homebuyer grant, who can receive down payment assistance. So, similar to this, for the FHA and the VA copy and the VA website, you're going to want to make sure you weave in really important content. So, don't skip out on this, whether you're using ChatGPT or you have a marketing assistant that can help write some content for you, or even you're hiring a freelancer, make sure you have someone that can write relevant content that's going to speak to your user base. Then when you scroll down, you're going to want to have reviews of some sort of testimonials that shows that you're a legitimate business, right? Whether you can link directly to, your Yelp or your Google My Business, this is going to be a really important piece. And then once they scroll all the way down, you're going to want to have that form again, right? So think about it, right? Someone clicks on the ad, they understand, hey, this is exactly what I'm looking for. It's down payment assistance. They're reading through, there's a few call to actions here. They look through the types of down payment assistance programs, and then boom, now that they've come all the way throughout the content, they now feel comfortable enough to fill out a form, right? So you want to get them in a few different angles, but you want to always, when you give content, ask for something. And that's kind of the nature of lead generation, right? So here is some information on, down payment assistance. But if you want more information, give me your form, give me some of your details through this form, and we'll give you a first-time homebuyer guide on the back end, right? Or if you want to go straight through the pre-approval process, fill this form out right here, right? These forms can be as complex or simple as your sales teams can handle, right? Obviously, the more simple the form, the lower the CPL. In this specific form, we have a few different variations, right? So the next slide will take them to a credit score question. It takes them to purchase price question. So if you have a really complex CRM and you can feed in some of that data point, I highly recommend that. That helps boost your ROI. But overall, that's just a quick glimpse on how to build out those landing pages that are going to actually drive your bottom line cost per lead, right? Once we go back into our campaigns, you're going to see that now, like I mentioned before, we have 3 ad groups. Let's dive into the first ad group and just talk about the structure of the actual campaign as a whole, right? So this first one is going to be our down payment assistant program. When we go through our locations, if you have a few states you work in, throw in those locations. Again, a lot of times, when you add more states or more geos, you actually gives Google the opportunity to give you lower CPCs and CPLs. Even if you're only registered or licensed in one state, use the whole state. I don't often recommend going hyper local. That often is going to have a negative impact because there's lower demand, higher competitive pressure, and it's just hard to generate sustainable lead generation, right? So often go with the state route so you can get a lot of impressions and a lot of clicks and helps lower your cost. For bidding, I generally recommend starting with manual. Once you get enough data, switch over to TCPA. So that's going to be very impactful. So overall, if you see my videos, we have a lot of videos based on how to build out a campaign, but this is really just focused on generating, quality leads, TCPA bidding, large state, geolocation targeting, and that should be good from there. But once we dive into the DPA keywords, you're going to see in this specific campaign, we're actually leveraging phrase match. Phrase match works really great when you have robust keywords, right? And you have a very focused negative keyword list. And I'm going to show you the negative keyword list in a minute. But as you go through these keywords, you see our quality score for DPA programs is 10 out of 10. Extremely high, and that's because we're utilizing landing pages that have robust information, robust copy, right? And people like to spend time and read through, right? So the lower your bounce rate and the higher your time on site and the more relevant information is on there, the higher your quality score is going to be, and Google's going to want to serve that landing page to more people, right? So again, we're focused on phrase match, robust keywords, robust negative keyword list, sending them to a very hyper-focused landing page. Okay, so you're going to want to build out, a very similar situation for FHA or VA, right? If you're a lender, find products that work for you, that work for your company. If you're if you're not a lender, you're a real estate broker or HVAC, again, hyper-focus on the products or services that you have, build out robust keyword lists and negative keyword list, and then send them to the appropriate landing page, right? So if you go to FHA, it's going to be very similar, right? A lot of phrase match, great quality scores, low CPAs, right? And because all of these are being sent to landing pages that have really great content, right? And you're going to do the same thing for VA and down the line. Before we move on, I also wanted to show really quickly how we build out negative keyword libraries. So we have really large lists centered around bad credit, centered around irrelevant searches, centered around competitors, and then we have general real estate and undesirable terms, right? So the key here is to, over time, going through your search terms report and finding what people are searching that you want to get away from, putting those in really large libraries and putting them in a list format so you can, leverage them throughout different campaigns, different accounts with ease, right? If you don't have lists, it can be very complicated to understand really what's driving success, and it's harder to roll out to other campaign types. Okay, now that we've touched a little bit on the keyword, the campaign build out, the negative keywords, I wanted to touch on just the conversion tracking aspect, right? So a big thing that we do at Turnkey Lead is that we implement offline conversions. So what we do is we build out a qualified lead, right? So like a scheduled an appointment or an interested lead, depending on your CRM or operational capacity, and we send that data back to Google saying, hey, the person that searched FHA loan scheduled an appointment and they're worth double the amount of a normal lead. So every time someone schedules an appointment, Google knows they're very valuable, right? So that is how you're able to build out a quality lead generation as well as a lower CPL, lower cost per lead, right? So you want to be able to toggle both of these things, because if you don't have this implemented, Google can technically send you a ton of leads that are bad credit leads or low quality leads, right? So putting this helps build out guardrail and build out just a sustainable way of generating lower cost CPLs. Okay, and the last tip I wanted to touch really quickly on is just going to be, click fraud. So we work with something called a click guard, and what that does is it flags bots and competitors that click on your ads. And so in the last few days, we've had about 30 clicks that are bots or invalid or competitors, and then we negate these from our campaign so that we get much cleaner traffic, right? So with if you're converting at 10%, right, every 30 clicks is 3 leads, right? So if you're able to negate that and lower your CPL that way, that also really helps impact your bottom line ROI, right? So there's a lot in this video on how to generate a lower cost per lead, but the goal here is that every little bit helps, right? So click fraud protection helps, negative keyword libraries help, offline conversion tracking helps, and even these landing pages that convert really highly. It's very, very impactful, right? So you're going to want to be able to do all these things to help improve the bottom line. Again, if you like this video, please like, subscribe. If you want to see more mortgage lead generation or industry specific lead generation, please comment below so I know what types of videos to create.